We're staged for another run of nitro-fueled NHRA talk. It's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts, with Marty Hough and 10-time NHRA winner Doug Herbert. Brought to you by Hercules Tires. Now, here are your hosts, Doug and Marty.
Four NHRA Mellow Yellow Series wins in a row. Tanner Gray earned his second win of his young career. We'll talk to both. The burnout is complete. We're set to launch another edition of The Straight Line. Wherever you may be, coast to coast around the world, this is The Straight Line on drag racing at mrn.com. Along with four-time IHRA Top Fuel champion and 10-time NHRA national event winner Doug Herbert, I am Marty Hough, the dapperly attired Doug Herbert. I mean, you've got things to do. You're an important guy, and
I know about that.
You've been out and about this morning.
Been running around. Yeah, yesterday we had a brakes program up in Washington, D.C. Actually, not a brake school, but a brakes event where Kia Motors of America opened up a new office up in Washington, D.C. So I was up there meeting with all the bigwigs from Kia. Went really well. One of their walls in the new office is about brakes. They've got a big brakes picture, some information on brakes, which is pretty neat.
Yeah.
To have in a main corporate office for an international company in Washington D.C. So that was pretty neat. This morning got up early, went over here to the Great Wolf Lodge in Concord.
Right around the corner from us.
Right around the corner from us, and did a conference for a charity called Safe Kids, and Safe Kids is, their name pretty much tells you what they do. They help kids safe, mostly concentrating on young kids, car seat installations, safety around the house and so forth. But had a good chance to talk with those folks, and where they see their kids starting to go away, that's kind of where we start seeing it. So
you're right.
They want their kids to become teenagers. We want them to become adults, and so. It's kind of a natural progression along the line, but had a great event over there, talking to a lot of first responders and that kind of thing, and it was a nice deal. And
then come right around the corner, and then find yourself over here where we can talk drag racing for a half an hour. And I don't even know where to start on Topeka. 338 miles an hour in a funny car, 333 miles an hour in a top fuel car. I mean, it's just ridiculous numbers this weekend coming out of Topeka.
Well, we talked about it last week. The weather could get cold, it could get good, and that's what it did. It rained, had some high pressure come through, cleaned everything off. It was a little bit wet, a little bit windy. My friend Sean from over there in Topeka, she was out there running a brakes booth at the track all through the weekend, so that was pretty neat. We had that going on there, but the racers, it was like Disneyland for them, right? 338 miles an hour, the fastest speed of all time, dragster, funny car, whatever, by Matt Hagan over there, 338 miles an hour, better than 1,000 foot, better than any quarter mile time.
Right.
338 top speed of all time. So pretty amazing for Matt Hagan, Dickie Venables, and that team I don't know if the NHRA really wants them to go that fast. I don't know if Goodyear wants them to go that fast, but I got a feeling that there might be some changes coming. But wow, for the fans at Topeka, they got their money's worth. I can tell you that.
This was like home run derby. Yeah. They're just lobbing softballs in there and watching the big hitters just swat them out of the park. And it was really great reality television, because there was just driver after driver, team after team coming up, and you're going, boy, could that be the next one? Could that be the next one? Could that be the next one? And it was
Tony
really
Schumacher 366 in top fuel.
Yeah.
Brittany Force with top speed at 333, and then Matt Hagan, as we were saying, 3.80 and 338 miles an hour, knocked it out of the park. The Pro Stock cars running pretty good. A little bit of surprise, Louis T, Bo Butner. Pretty neat. I mean, he's obviously been running really well. Yeah. They're not just somebody that's out there running. They can win races. Jason Line, the KB Racing team, with top speed at 211 miles an hour.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to talk to Tanner Gray here in just a couple of minutes, because right now it appears that the KB Racing advantage that they had last year is pretty much gone. Yeah, they may be top of the heap right now, but when you start looking down the win
They don't
sheet,
have the advantage that they had.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Gray Motorsports right now 3 wins on the season, and they're
3 wins in 2 races, or whatever. 2 wins in the last 3 races, whatever.
Yeah, and they're running very well. So we'll get the inside from one of the Rookie of the Year contenders, and doing quite well right now. We'll talk to him next. Tanner Gray is on the line, and we'll talk to him in just a second.
Hey, this is Dale Earnhardt Jr., and I know the importance of communication. So when it came to selecting equipment for my team, I chose Racing Electronics.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. will win! Oh, yeah!
And so should you. With Racing Electronics, you can listen to all the raw, unfiltered, heat-of-the-moment communication between drivers and their crews,
I love you, man.
enhancing your experience,
Unbelievable!
and putting you right in the middle of the action. Go to racingelectronics.com to rent a scanner or fan vision, or see Racing Electronics and Fan Vision trackside at every NASCAR race.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
O'Reilly. Restore lost fuel economy and eliminate rough idle with Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, buy 2 bottles of Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner and get 1 free. Clean clogged injectors and increase fuel efficiency with Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner. Buy 2, get 1 free at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Welcome back to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Here's more with Marty Hough and Doug Herbert.
Thanks for being with us today here on The Straight Line, and joining us on the telephone line, fresh off his 2nd win of the season, coming this weekend at Heartland Park, Topeka. Tanner Gray joins us. Tanner, thanks for your time. We really appreciate it. Congratulations on the win.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Well, it wasn't that long ago that we talked to you and you got your first win, and now, not very, coming up pretty quick, you've got your 2nd win. That's a pretty strong start to the finish for you and your team. You guys are doing really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. They've definitely been giving me fast race car all year, and I've been working on my consistency up on the start line, and I think it's all starting to come together. That was a new car that we took out to Topeka, and it only had a few runs on it, so it definitely says a lot about my team and all my guys, for them to be able to go out there and make those kind of runs with a new car. That's pretty cool.
You're quick to give credit to your teammates, but I think the proof is in the pudding. When you go down the ladder sheet and see what your opponents did this weekend, I think you're quickly getting a reputation as a guy who is a strong lever. 2 of the best in the business, Drew Skillman and Jeg Coughlin, red lights against you. Obviously, they're needing to get a starting line advantage. And one of the guys that ended up getting a green light against you, Greg Anderson, he lost on a hole shot. What does this say about you as a driver when your opponents are doing things at the starting line that's probably going to get them beat?
Yeah, I don't know if they were just having an off day or what, but like I said, I've been just working on my consistency and trying to narrow down those numbers and kind of keep them in the same range, So that definitely helps, but in the same sense, no matter how good you are on the tree, you can only go so far if you don't have a good race car. So, it's just been a big team effort, and like I said, the guys they came in and got this new car and worked on it all through the weekend and went and tested in Darlington Monday, Tuesday, and they made sure I was comfortable in it. We had to change a few things around with my clutch pedal and stuff like that, but once we got it all figured out, everything kind of seemed to come together, and it seems to work well. So, I'm definitely excited to go to Epping and see what we can do there. I have a lot of confidence, and so does the team. So, I'm just excited to see what we can do there.
Tanner, we've talked to your dad on the show a couple times, and one of the times we talked to him, maybe last year or so, he said, we're doing our own engine thing, and it's kind of coming together. It's taken some time, but it looks like you guys have your engine program pretty well figured out, too.
True that.
So, that's got to be a pretty rewarding thing for not only you, but your dad, your grandfather. You guys have put a lot of time, effort, energy, resources into making that entire program such a success.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. My dad and my grandpa have definitely put a lot of sweat and tears into this engine program, and the guys back here working have done the same. Like I said, like this shop is just got a lot of great guys in it, and all of them have an awesome work ethic, and they all want to win just as bad as I do, and it's just like it's one big family here, and we all get along really well. And like I said, everybody works hard. So for finally to be coming together, and for all the hard work to finally start to pay off, it's really rewarding. And just to try to keep going, and hopefully maybe get a little bit better, and try to distance ourselves from the field, maybe give ourselves a little breathing room.
Speaking of the shop, yesterday you were at the shop getting a workout in, and something that you put up on Twitter with a barbell and a couple of tires on each end, and actually calling out Matt Hagan. I'm not sure if calling out Matt Hagan was maybe a really good idea. Talk about, and we're showing it right now on our streaming site. That was really cool. Talk about what you were doing, and just having fun around the shop.
Yeah, I actually was back there working on my go-kart, getting it ready for this big Speed 51 race coming up here tonight, and I just happened to walk around the corner, and my older brother and the back half tire guy were back there, and I noticed they were messing around with some bar, and they had tires on them. My brother's actually a CrossFit guy, so
yeah.
He does all that stuff, and I just happened to walk around the corner, and they had a bunch of tires on this barbell, and they were lifting them, and so I just hopped in there and just kind of messed with that a little bit, and Dave actually came back and saw us and started videoing it, and then Dave hopped in there. But my dad and Matt Hagan are pretty big guys. And,
yeah.
They love working out together and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty funny, just to kind of mess with him and see what he thought about it. But no, it was all in good fun. He's definitely a big dude. I wouldn't want to mess with him.
Nope.
Tanner, your second win of the year is putting you in a pretty strong position for one of the biggest awards of the year, which is Rookie of the Year, Road to the Future Award. Tell us a little bit about that, and that would be a pretty big thing to be the winner of that. And right now, you're looking like a pretty strong candidate.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. The year my dad tried to get Rookie of the Year, Ellie Tong actually won the championship in the motorcycle. So, that was pretty tough. And then my uncle, the year that he tried to get it, he lost to Richie Crampton. So, I'm not sure if my grandpa ever got it or not, but, as far as I know, I think I'd be the only one in my family to get Rookie of the Year. So, that's something I really want to do. And, I'm working hard at it. So, hopefully we can come out and get that award. I think that'd be really cool.
Speaking of your grandpa, there was word about a month ago or so that possibly we could see your grandfather, Johnny Gray, in a pro stock car at Indianapolis along with your dad. And that would be 3 generations of Grays in one race at the biggest race of the year. Are those plans still on track?
As far as I know, I believe so. And honestly, I haven't heard much on it since then. So, I think when the time comes, the closer the event gets, we'll know more. It's like my grandpa said, you never know what he's gonna do. He says if the fish are biting real good, then he's gonna go fishing. He doesn't want any commitments, and but I respect that. He's definitely just kicking back and enjoying his retirement down in Florida.
Well, that's great. With number 3 in points right now, but you're only 3 rounds out of the lead. So, obviously there's a lot that can happen between now and Indy, and then the countdown starts and all that. But in a pretty good spot, you got to be feeling pretty good about that and your position going into these next couple races back to back when you're on such a roll as you're on too.
Yeah, I feel really good about it. Like I said, me and the rest of this team here have a lot of confidence going into the next few races, and to be sitting third in points behind, is it Greg and Bo?
Yep.
Yeah, they're definitely some tough competitors, but I think it just says a lot about our guys that we're up there with them. Last year they had us gapped pretty good on performance, and I think it's just really cool that we've caught up to them and can run with them and have a chance to contend. So hopefully everything keeps going our way and we can continue to go rounds and hopefully try to take that points lead.
Well, Tanner, congratulations winning the race over here at Heartland Park, Topeka last week. You got some weekend off coming up, and then you got some back-to-back races after that. So it's going to just get even hotter. So congratulations on your win at Heartland Park, and we'll be checking with you, I'm sure, probably again before the end of the year, I would think. Maybe more than once.
Let's hope so.
I hope so. Yes, sir. I appreciate it, guys.
Tanner Gray, driver of the Valvoline Chevy Camaro here on the Straight Line. And when we come back, we'll talk to Mr. 4 in a row, Ron Capps. Will be here next.
When the smoke settles, the entertainment never stops.
It's all a family sport.
On race weekends, your favorite NASCAR personality is an everyday superhero.
Brad Keselowski will win.
But when they leave the racetrack, they're just like everyone else.
We just have to find the value package that connects a new generation of fans.
I'm Susie Armstrong. Join me on a daily journey as we discuss the hot topics and engaging personalities of NASCAR Nation. Ned Jarrett's World of Racing, weekdays on the Motor Racing Network.
O'Reilly.
Restore lost fuel economy and eliminate rough idle with Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, buy 2 bottles of Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner and get 1 free. Clean clogged injectors and increase fuel efficiency with Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner. Buy 2, get 1 free at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
So what are your favorite drivers really thinking? We'll tell you each weekday on NASCAR Today, midday.
Getting married has been incredible. I wish I had figured all this out sooner.
Get the latest news from the sport and the opinions of NASCAR's biggest stars.
Changing over to Ford will open up some opportunities and possibilities and some just pure potential for the team.
That's NASCAR Today, midday. Weekdays on the Motor Racing Network.
It's the Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now, once again, here's Doug and Marty.
Thanks for hanging out with us today here on the Straight Line. In our open, we were talking about these huge speeds that we saw at Heartland Park, Topeka this past weekend. Guy on the telephone really wasn't close to those big speeds, but he got the big prize at the end of the day. 4 in a row for the driver of the Napa Dodge for Don Schumacher Racing. Ron Capps joins us. Ron, congratulations on another win. And as you said, the big speeds aren't the most important thing. It's the Wally at the end of the day.
Yeah. In the interview, I had mentioned that we were a little bummed we couldn't get up there and throw those big numbers out on Friday and Saturday in qualifying, but I didn't mean that we couldn't. We didn't know how. Tolbert was just he wasn't going to try to do it. We were just off a little on his fuel system, and he couldn't quite figure out what was going on, and he's not going to put me in harm's way and go out there and try to throw down a number like that and hurt myself or the car. So we made a huge change. I talked about on the TV show Sunday morning, put a brand new fuel pump on, which is crazy for a crew chief to do without testing at first, especially Sunday morning before first round. And the typical Ron Tolbert mojo came back, and we ended up winning the race.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tobler, he always gets it together. Like, you say he just bolted a new fuel pump on Sunday. Knowing Tobler, there was a lot of thinking, planning, calculating, a million other things that went in there. He just didn't bolt that baby on.
No, well, sort of he did, but
really?
It did start after qualifying Saturday. When qualifying was over, we were 7th. We weren't happy about it, but we achieved the first goal of having lane choice first round. Qualifying and having lane choice is always a big goal for us. So we didn't qualify where we wanted to, but in our debriefing that we do after every run, and especially Saturday night, we have a few people come over and hang out, and he kept turning around in his chair and looking at Hough, our assistant crew chief, and saying, you know what, if I had any you-know-what's on me, we'll say guts, I would just bolt that fuel pump on that I have. And we needed a bigger fuel pump, but he's had one sitting in a cabinet that he wanted to test on a Monday, which is normally what you do. And Hough was great, and we said, let's do it, man. And he thought about it overnight, went to the track a little early the next morning, and him and Hough got the car ready. And we were lucky. I don't know if you saw on TV that I've had fans all over asking me about them shutting me off, actually hitting a button to shut the car off during the run against Cruz Pedregon the first round. And it's a new deal that we have now where the crew chiefs can shut the car off if they see something going wrong out there and a driver doesn't feel it or see it. And so it worked out good in our favor. Yeah, no kidding. Well, the car didn't run all that bad because second round you had low ET of the round, and also going into the final you had lane choice. So, you're saying, we kind of just went down through there. No, not exactly. The car ran pretty good, and Ron Capps did his normal job behind the wheel, which is being very consistent, being good, and not making any mistakes. Yeah, that first round was key. That was our, Doug, how it goes. You got to have one lucky round or run per weekend if you're going to win a race. It seems that way anyway, at least. Yeah. And that button is there for a reason. I knew it had a cylinder out to hit the throttle. Had I been on the gas for another half a second, we would have had explosions like you saw with the other funny cars with TJ and Hagen, because it broke a piece in the valve train, and that's why the cylinder was out. But the fact that they saw Cruz smoke tires at the hit of the throttle, they were able to let me get further down the track, and then Tobler tapped on Hopp's shoulder, and he hit the button. And that saved us from having to repair a car from blowing up. And that was we got the win but lost lane choice. But like you said, we came out that next round, and Courtney just went 328 the run before, so they were pretty confident, in that other lane. So we went right down the lane that was not of choice and ran 386, which matched our qualifying effort. And once again, Ron Tobler pulled it out.
Ron, when you're in a situation when you've won 3 in a row, and you're making a decision, not you, but Ron Tobler, and it's kind of a group decision on how that happens. Do you feel like you're playing with house money at that point and go, hey, we can throw another fuel pump on here and see what happens? If it doesn't work, hey, we've won 3 in a row, and it's not going to be that bad. It's funny. We won the first race, then we won the second race, and you don't even think about that. I told somebody the other day, I said, Friday afternoon when we showed up at Topeka, you would not have known we had won 3 races in a row. You're on a new goal, you're on a new track, you have your blinders are on, and you're just kind of going for it. And that never crossed our mind. It was more so, what are we going to do for race day Sunday? And that's typical Tobler, just thinking about what to do, big picture, and how to win the race. And right now, we know we're going to be in the tractor shootout with a win. We qualified by already getting 1 win, let alone a 4. And right now, it's just trying to pound these other competitors, while we got a good race car, because it won't last as good as it is forever. We just want to make sure we're good come the playoff times at the countdown. In the meantime, man, it's nice to get these wins and add to the trophy collection and add to the bonus program for the crew guys. That's the best part. How about what are you thinking about going into having a weekend off now? But then, you're the only guy that can now win 5 in a row. Yeah, it's rarefied air. Right. I just read an article somebody wrote that, that there's a pretty few bunch of guys that have done it in the past. Talking about Bernstein and Snake. Snake did it back in '75. And Robert Hite, we stopped his streak at 4 when he was doing it in 2012. Yep. And of course, John Force did it when he was, in his him and Oscar Coyle. So, and I think Cruz Pedregon did it back in '92 when he won the championship. So that's it. That's a small list. And again, we're going to show up to Epping, New Hampshire. There's 4 in a row. Last year, we went on a pretty good streak of winning 3 out of those 4 East Coast swing races.
So, I'm glad they're on the schedule and we're coming up to them. But again, I would be remiss, or you don't want to be cocky enough to think that, we're going to roll into those races and expect to win.
Right.
We know we can win, but the competition, it's incredible. Every time I talk to you guys, I say the same thing. It's harder and harder to win, and it is. Every time we show up, you can go down the list of funny cars, and it's crazy to think of the amount of cars that can win on any given day.
Hey, Ron, going into second round, racing Courtney and then Height in the semis. What does John Force ever come over and try and get in your head? He likes playing games like that. Does he try and have a little fun with you?
Oh yeah, we're buddies from a long time ago. So he rides up on a scooter, whether it's qualifying or race day, and comes up to my window in the tow car, and we chat all the time about usually nothing to do with racing. But it was big because Robert came right out of the gate swinging with 337, just dropped jaws there in qualifying. So we knew that was going to be a big matchup. Ron Tobler and Jimmy Prock, Robert Height's crew chief, left yesterday with Turks and Caicos to go lay on a beach together with their wife. So they're still tight friends away from the racetrack. So I knew that was going to be a big matchup, and those two love to go at it, being good friends and all, but it's ego, and that was a big matchup for us against Height because we knew that they had really, really run good in qualifying. And, Force, he comes up and kind of, even before the burnout when I'm running high, he'll come up and clap his hands in front of me. And I'm sure he's slowly trying to play mind games a little bit, but, we've been friends for so long, it doesn't bother me.
Real quick, what do you think about going possibly 340 miles an hour in a funny car? This is crazy type speeds.
Well, I'm honored that the funny cars hold top speed. I mean, I think it's cool. And NHRA, I'm sure, does not like it. The dragsters are considered the kings of the sport, right, Doug?
Yeah, that's right. I'm pissed every week.
He's pissed.
So I'm sure they're a little pissed off.
Yeah.
And I would assume before we get to Epping or soon, we're going to have a hit on our rev limiter on the funny cars. There's no doubt that. But I'm proud of even my competitors. I'm proud of the fact that funny cars went that fast.
Yeah, that's a heck of a ride. Hey, also one thing that I thought has been pretty neat, at a few of the races you have brakes on the side of your car. I know it's Napa brakes, but when I see that, I go, man, that's cool. Caps has brakes on the side of that car. That's awesome.
Yeah, and by the way, Doug, my son, Caden, he's 15. We're just getting his permit, so
Nice.
I'm either going to fly out to one of your brakes programs or I'm going to find out about the West Coast. But my daughter she blessed us. She was easy. My son, I'm worried about him, so I'm going to make sure we go through the brakes programs a couple times.
Oh, Acorn doesn't fall far from the tree. Hey, Ron Capps, congratulations, 4 in a row. That is incredible. Have a good weekend this weekend. I was talking to Steve Levy the other day, and he's all excited about coming up to Sonoma with you this summer. He said you invited him.
We're going to Paso Robles like we do every year. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Congratulations. Great win. Great job by you and the whole Napa team.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Driver of the Napa Dodge for Don Schumacher Racing. That is Ron Capps, winner of 4 in a row. And when we return, we'll wrap up another great edition of the show.
Hey, Danica Patrick here. When I have friends and guests at the track who want to hear me drop pearls of wisdom during the race, I send them to Racing Electronics.
You all right back there?
I think so. I didn't, other than hitting a car, I didn't hit anything, but there's a tire down or something.
If you aren't listening to all the action live, you're missing out. Don't forget to rent a scanner or fan vision for the races. Go to racingelectronics.com to pre-rent for great discounts on your scanner and fan vision rentals.
O'Reilly.
Restore lost fuel economy and eliminate rough idle with Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, buy 2 bottles of Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner and get 1 free. Clean clogged injectors and increase fuel efficiency with Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner. Buy 2, get 1 free at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If you have a question or comment about NASCAR, Motor Racing Network has a direct line for you. It's the Fan Forum Hotline.
I'm a newbie to this sport just this year, and I wanted to know.
I was wondering if when they measure the length of a racetrack.
Call in at 844-4-ASK-MRN. That's 844-4-ASK-MRN.
Just wanted to send out a big shout out and thanks for covering the race.
The Fan Forum Hotline, your connection to NASCAR.
You're listening to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now, back to Marty Hough and Doug Herbert.
Coming up this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, as a matter of fact, starting tomorrow, May 26th, it's the Country 500 at Daytona International Speedway. The World Center of Racing becomes the World Center of Entertainment with performances by Blake Shelton, Kid Rock, Miranda Lambert, Keith Urban, Brooks and Dunn. Maybe you've heard of some of those. A big country music festival at Daytona International Speedway. For 1 and 3 day passes, visit Country 500 for more information and to buy your tickets. And if you've got any time whatsoever down in Central Florida, it is worth your while to stop by Daytona International Speedway and check out the Country 500. Doug, we were talking during the break. Heartland Park Topeka was shut down for a while. There was no buyers.
It was a public park to start with, built on bonds. It was so forth. There was a public park, and then they went through some tough times. I think it's been 2 or 3 different owners over the years, but I'll tell you what, they got to be feeling pretty good now about having top speed of all time. So the folks over there are nice. The area it's a great place to race.
Yeah, over 2 years. Last year they did the same thing, and they broke breaking last year's record. So it's been a really good two years for Heartland Park Topeka. Thanks to everybody for joining us. So for Daryl Smith and Robbie Mays, and for Doug Herbert, I am Marty Hough. We'll talk to you next week on The Straight Line.
You've been listening to The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. The Straight Line is the show for drag racing fans and was brought to you by Hercules Tires. Tune in again next Thursday on MRN.com and the MRN app. The Straight Line is also available on demand in MRN.com's Media Center, on our Facebook page, on YouTube, and in iTunes or the Google Play Store. The Straight Line is a production of the Motor Racing Network.